The rain-slicked streets of Brooklyn gleamed under the sodium lamps like veins of forgotten promises, and Carter Hayes slammed his apartment door so hard the frame rattled. His fist already clenched around the crumpled sketch that had upended his world. "This isn't real," he whispered to the empty room, but the pencil lines stared back. His childhood home, the sagging porch swing where he'd first tasted the sting of unspoken love, rendered in the shaky hand of a stranger named Wyatt. In that single drawing, 20 years of buried secrets clawed their way to the surface, demanding he face the boy who'd somehow mapped the fractures of his soul. Carter's breath came in ragged bursts as he unfolded the sketch again, the paper whispering like a ghost against his palms. The nonprofit's annual art showcase was supposed to be a triumph. Rainbow Threads, his baby, a haven for queer kids who'd been chewed up by the system and spat out into New York's indifferent sprawl. Tonight, amid the clink of cheap wine glasses and the murmur of donors pretending to care, one submission had gutted him. Wyatt Ellis, age 24, no bio, just this, a house. Not just any house, his house, the one in Elmwood, Kansas, where summers blurred into sticky afternoons of fireflies and the sharp tang of his father's disappointment. The porch light that flickered like a hesitant heartbeat. The crooked oak where he'd carved his initials, and Jamie's, into the bark, a teenage vow sealed in sap and secrecy. He dropped into the worn leather armchair by the window, the city skyline a jagged silhouette against the storm. How? The question looped in his mind, a noose tightening. Elmwood was a speck on the map, a place people fled, not revisited in crayon strokes. Carter had left at 18, backpack slung over one shoulder, a Greyhound ticket to freedom clutched like a talisman. No looking back. He'd built an empire from those ashes. Rainbow Threads? Pulling at-risk LGBTQ+ youth from foster mills and street corners, giving them brushes and clay instead of bruises. Therapy through creation. But this was invasion. His phone buzzed on the coffee table, the screen lighting up with a text from Lena, his right-hand woman. "You vanished." Donors asking. "And that sketch, WTF?" Carter ignored it, tracing the drawing's edges. The artist's name scrawled in the corner, Wyatt. No last name on the submission form, just an email and a vague note. "For the ghosts we carry." Ghosts? Yeah. Carter's were legion. Jamie, his first love, gone too soon in a car wreck that smelled of whiskey and regret. His father, preaching fire and brimstone from the pulpit while hiding his own demons. And him, Carter Hayes, golden boy turned ghost himself, loving men in shadows because daylight burned. By dawn, the rain had eased to a drizzle, and Carter was dressed in his armor. Slim-fit chinos, a crisp button-down rolled to the elbows, tattoos peeking like defiant secrets. He grabbed his keys and headed to the Threads office in Bushwick, a converted warehouse pulsing with the ghosts of industrial glory. Lena was there already, nursing a black coffee, her locks tied back in a no-nonsense bun. "You look like hell," she said, sliding a mug his way. "Spill." He slapped the sketch down between them. This is my house, Elmwood, the one I told you about, the reason I started this place." Lena's eyes widened, dark and sharp as obsidian. "No shit. The kid who did it, Wyatt, he's in the drop-in program. Showed up last month, quiet as a shadow. Said he was crashing on friends' couches after some family drama in the Midwest. I paired him with the art therapist, thought it'd help." Midwest. Carter's voice cracked like dry earth. "Lena, I haven't been back in 20 years. How the hell does he know what my porch looks like?" She shrugged, but her gaze lingered. "Art pulls from the deep end. Maybe he saw a photo online? Or, no." He cut her off sharper than intended. "It's too exact. The swing, the oak, even the damn flower box Dad never filled." He paced, the floorboards creaking under his boots. Rainbow Threads wasn't just walls and workshops. It was his redemption. Kids like him, kicked out at 16 for kissing a boy in the barn, found safety here. Supplies for their dreams. A community that didn't flinch. But Wyatt? He was a glitch in the matrix. A boy with ink-stained fingers who'd redrawn Carter's locked-away youth. Talk to him, Lena urged, her voice softening. Today's open studio. He's usually there by 10. Carter nodded, but his gut twisted. What if Wyatt knew? What if this was some cosmic joke? A universe laughing at his carefully constructed walls. He spent the morning buried in emails. Grant proposals, volunteer rosters. Anything to drown the pull. By 10:30, he couldn't fight it. The studio was a sunlit chaos. Easels splashed with color. Teens bent over canvases. Laughter cutting through the hum of fans. And there, in the corner by the supply table, was Wyatt. He was slighter than Carter imagined. All lean angles and faded band tee clinging to a frame honed by uncertainty. Dark hair fell in waves over forehead, brushing lashes that hid eyes the color of storm clouds. He was sketching idly on a napkin, charcoal smudging his knuckles, oblivious to the room's orbit. Carter cleared his throat. Wyatt! The boy looked up and time stuttered. Those eyes, familiar, like echoes in a canyon. Yeah. I'm Carter Hayes, founder here. He extended a hand, pulse hammering. Wyatt's grip was firm, calloused from creation, warm in a way that sent unwelcome sparks up Carter's arm. Your piece last night. The house. It's incredible. Wyatt's lips quirked, a half-smile that didn't reach his eyes. Thanks. Pulled it from a dream, I guess. Or a nightmare. He wiped his hands on his jeans, leaving gray streaks. You like houses? Carter hesitated, the sketch burning in his pocket. This one. Personal. He pulled it out, held it between them like evidence. Where'd you get the idea? Wyatt's face shifted, guarded. Then something rawer. Elmwood. Foster stint there back when I was a kid. Bounced around after Mom OD'd. That house. Stuck. Felt like a character in a story I couldn't finish. Foster. The word landed like a punch. Carter's mind reeled. Elmwood's group homes. The scandals whispered in church pews. His father's church, right across the street. You lived there? In my house. Wyatt blinked, confusion etching his brow. Your house? Nah, I was in the county system. But I'd sneak out, wander the blocks. That place had this vibe. Like it was waiting for someone to come home. He leaned closer, studying the sketch as if seeing it anew. Weird how memory tricks you. Makes you draw shit you didn't know you saw. Carter's throat tightened. Not a foster kid in his house, but close enough to haunt the edges. I grew up there. Left when I was 18. Haven't looked back. Wyatt nodded slowly, something flickering in his gaze. Recognition? Curiosity. Must have been rough. Small towns chew up dreamers. He paused, then added softly, especially if you're different. The air thickened, charged with the unspoken. Carter felt exposed, like Wyatt had peeled back his skin with a glance. Yeah, different. He forced a smile. Listen, your work's got power. Ever think about exhibiting more? We could set up a solo wall. Wyatt laughed, low and genuine, the sound warming the room's corners. Me? Nah, I'm just messing around. Keeps the demons quiet. But Carter saw it, the hunger beneath the deflection. They talked then, words tumbling like rain on tin. Wyatt's nomadic life, crashing from Kansas to Chicago to here, chasing gigs as a barista while sketching strangers' souls. Carter shared snippets. His escape to NYU, the nonprofit born from too many eviction notices served to queer kids. Hours slipped by, the studio emptying around them, until Lena poked her head in with a knowing grin. Locking up. You two plotting world domination. Wyatt gathered his supplies, slinging a battered messenger bag over his shoulder. Something like that. At the door he turned, eyes locking on Carter's. Thanks for not blowing smoke. Feels real. Carter watched him go, the sketch heavy in his pocket. Real. Dangerous word. That night, alone again, he Googled Wyatt Ellis. Nothing but shadows. No socials, no trail. Just a ghost who'd redrawn his heart. Sleep came fitful, dreams of porches and charcoal kisses, and by morning, Carter knew. This boy was unraveling him, thread by thread. The weeks blurred into a rhythm Carter hadn't known he craved. Wyatt became a fixture at Threads. Mornings in the studio, afternoons grabbing falafel from the truck on Knickerbocker, evenings where Carter happened to linger. It started innocent. Critiques over coffee, Wyatt's laugh chasing away the boardroom chill. But innocence frayed at the edges. A brush of knuckles passing a sketchpad. The way Wyatt's gaze lingered on Carter's mouth during stories of Elmwood. Heat built, unspoken, a current humming beneath their banter. One humid July evening, after a Threads fundraiser, catered sliders and indie folk strumming Heartbreak, they ended up on Carter's fire escape, city lights winking like conspirators. Wyatt nursed a beer, legs dangling over the void. You ever miss it? The quiet. Carter leaned against the railing, close enough to catch the faint soap and charcoal scent of him. The quiet or the pain? Both. Wyatt's voice dropped, vulnerable. I ran from mine. Foster hops, bad touches, the works. Art's my map out. But sometimes, it pulls you back. Carter's chest ached. He wanted to bridge the gap, to say I see you because I was you. Instead, he murmured, that house in your drawing, it's mine. Sold after Dad died, but it was ours. Mom's flower box, empty as her promises. The swing where I first. He trailed off, the confession hovering. Wyatt turned, their knees brushing. First what? Kissed a boy. The words escaped, raw and unfiltered. The air stilled, charged. Wyatt's eyes darkened. Not with shock, but hunger. Me too, Wyatt whispered. In that town, behind the oak. Thought it'd fix everything. Carter's world tilted. The oak. Their oak? No coincidence had to be. But then Wyatt leaned in, tentative, lips brushing Carter's in a question. Carter answered, pulling him close, the kiss igniting like dry tinder. Hands and hair, breaths mingling. The fire escape a world unto itself. It was messy, desperate. Teeth and tongues and the salt of unshed tears. When they broke apart, foreheads pressed, Wyatt breathed. This feels like coming home. But homes, Carter knew, hid secrets in their floorboards. Summer in Brooklyn was a beast. Humid, relentless, turning stoops into saunas and subways into sweat boxes. Carter thrived in it, or so he told himself, powering through Threads expansion plans. New satellite in Queens, partnerships with city shelters. But Wyatt had cracked something open, a fault line running straight to Elmwood. Their nights blurred, stolen hours in Carter's loft, bodies tangled in sheets that smelled of him, of them. Wyatt's touch was electric, reverent. Fingers tracing the tattoo on Carter's ribs, a rainbow thread weaving through thorns, while Carter mapped the constellation of freckles across Wyatt's shoulders. It was romance in fragments. Lazy brunches at Smorgasburg, where Wyatt sketched caricatures of hipsters for laughs. Midnight walks along the East River, hands linked against the chill off the water. Your trouble, Carter murmured one night, post-coital glow painting them in moonlight. Wyatt sprawled beside him, chest rising slow, a lazy grin splitting his face. Good trouble, Wyatt replied, echoing the civil rights ghosts Carter admired. He propped on an elbow, eyes tracing Carter's jaw. You built this empire from nothing. Makes me feel small. Carter pulled him down, lips brushing temple. Never small. You're the one drawing truths I can't face. It was true. Wyatt's latest pieces for Threads were visceral. Fractured boys in shadowed rooms, hands reaching for light. Donors raved. Lena called it the next big thing. But privately, Carter hoarded the sketches Wyatt slipped him. Intimate studies, his own face rendered with aching tenderness. Yet doubt gnawed. The house lingered between them, an uninvited third. Tell me more about Elmwood, Carter pressed one evening, over takeout pad thai on the couch. Rain pattered the windows, a soothing counterpoint. Wyatt paused, fork midway to mouth. Not much to tell. Bounced into town at 12, after Mom. County placed me with the Hendersons, strict but fed me. I'd escape to the creek, sketch the old places. That house stood out. Lights always on, like it was lonely. Carter's fork stilled. My parents. Dad was Pastor Reverend Hayes. Fire and brimstone type. Mom. Faded into pills after my sister left. He hadn't spoken of Ellie in years. Gone to California, chasing starlight, leaving him to bear the weight. Wyatt's brow furrowed. Hayes? Wait. Recognition dawned, slow and sharp. I knew that name. The church. We had to go Sundays, mandatory for foster points. Your dad. He did that youth group. The one with the pamphlets on choosing right paths. Carter's stomach dropped. Choosing right paths. Code for conversion therapy light veiled in scripture. He'd endured the sermons. The sidelong glares when Jamie's truck idled too long at the curb. Yeah, he tried fixing me. Failed spectacularly. Wyatt set his plate aside, shifting closer. I remember a kid there. Older. Quiet. Dark hair. Always sketching in the back pew. His hand found Carter's, thumb stroking knuckles. Was that you? Carter breathed, pulse roaring. Wyatt shook his head, but his eyes held secrets. Nah, but I saw him, the pastor's son. Everyone whispered about him. The air grew thick, memories surfacing like bubbles in tar. Carter pulled away, standing abruptly. I need air. He grabbed his jacket, fleeing to the fire escape, the city a blur below. Wyatt followed, silent, wrapping arms around him from behind. I'm sorry, Wyatt murmured into his neck. Didn't mean to dig up graves. It's not you. Carter leaned back, drawing strength from the solid warmth. It's the house. That drawing, it woke everything. Jamie died there, on that road by the oak. Drunk driver. I was supposed to be with him. Wyatt's hold tightened. Fuck, that's heavy. They stood like that until the rain stopped, words inadequate. Back inside, lovemaking was slower, a reclaiming. Carter pinning Wyatt to the mattress, kisses like confessions, bodies moving in syncopated grief. Afterward, Wyatt traced patterns on Carter's chest. What if we went back to Elmwood, faced the ghosts together? Carter's heart stuttered. Together? Yeah, close the loop. Wyatt's voice was soft, but his eyes burned with resolve. It was madness, but in the quiet hours, Carter dreamed of it. Tires on gravel, Wyatt's hand in his, the porch swing creaking under their weight. Hope fragile as a sketch. Threads buzzed with energy as August waned, back-to-school drives, pride retrospectives. Wyatt dove in, co-leading art workshops, his quiet charisma drawing kids like moths. Carter watched, pride swelling. This was it, the life he'd built, now shared. But cracks showed. Late nights, Wyatt would vanish into his phone, typing furiously before shoving it away. Once, Carter glimpsed a name, Aunt Clara. Family? Wyatt dodged questions, deflecting with humor or heat. Then came the letter. Slipped under Carter's door one gray morning. No stamp, handwritten envelope. Hayes Family Trust. His blood ran cold. Inside, a realtor's notice. The Elmwood house, foreclosed, up for auction. Proceeds to some vague fund, but the kicker. A photo enclosed, the porch swing rotted through, and scribbled on the back. He knew, and he left you both. Dad's handwriting? No, too neat. But the venom was pure haze. Carter crumpled it, fury boiling. He knew. About Jamie? About him? The old man had died in silence. Heart attack mid-sermon. Secrets sealed in oak. He showed Lena, who cursed colorfully. This is harassment. Call the cops. But Carter couldn't. Not yet. He needed Wyatt. That night, at a dive bar in Williamsburg, neon buzz, jukebox crooning Springsteen. Carter spilled it over whiskeys. Wyatt listened, face paling. That's why the drawing, Wyatt said finally. I found an old album in the Henderson attic. Photos of the town. Your house was in one. Captioned Pastor Hayes' Pride. Stuck with me. Carter's glass trembled. Pride. Ironic. Wyatt covered his hand. Let's buy it. The house. Turn it into something. A Threads outpost. Heal the haunt. The idea ignited. Radical, reckless. Carter's mind raced. Grants, donors, a Midwest foothold. You serious? Dead serious. Wyatt's smile was fierce. We rewrite the story. They sealed it with a kiss, salty with whiskey and want. But as they stumbled back to the loft, arms linked, Carter's phone lit up. Lena. Check the donor list. Wyatt's aunt just pledged $50K. Coincidence? Doubt slithered in, cold and coiling. The auction loomed, September 15th, a Friday freight train. Carter threw himself into prep. Calls to realtors, threads board buy-in, even a crowdfunding splash. Wyatt was omnipresent, sketching blueprints for a Haven house. Dorm rooms, art studios, a porch swing rebuilt strong. Their love deepened in the frenzy. Quickies in the office supply closet, whispered plans under Brooklyn Bridge arches. Wyatt opened up in fragments. Mom's overdose at 28. His own queerness discovered at 15 in a Foster bathroom mirror. Fists clenched against the glass. Felt like breaking free, he'd say, and Carter would hold him, murmuring, "You did." But the letter haunted. He knew, and he left you both. Who was both? Ellie? Jamie? Carter fired off emails to the trust lawyer. Got stonewalled. Lena dug discreetly. The aunt, Clara Ellis, widowed, Kansas royalty, with a history of charitable interventions in foster cases. Wyatt's link? He confronted him gently, over coffee in the studio. Your aunt, Clara. She funding us? Wyatt stiffened, stirring sugar endlessly. Distant. Found me last year after I hit threads. Wants to make amends for the system screwing me over. Amends how? Carter pressed, heart aching at the evasion. Money. No strings. But Wyatt's eyes darted, and he changed the subject, pulling Carter into a kiss that tasted of deflection. Trust frayed, but love stitched it back. Fiercely, blindly. The auction day dawned crisp, leaves turning fire-kissed. They drove out in Carter's rented SUV, playlists of queer anthems blasting. Hosier, Troye Sivan. Wyatt's hand on his thigh, steadying. Elmwood unfolded like a faded postcard. Grain silos, diners with pie signs, the church steeple piercing low clouds. The auction house was a bland strip mall affair. Folding chairs, a gavel-wielding auctioneer with a drawl. Bidders, flippers, nostalgia hounds. Carter and Wyatt sat front row. Bids climbing. 50K, 75, 100. Clara's pledge covered the gap. Carter's heart hammered as the hammer fell. Sold to Hayes Ellis Partnership. Elation surged. They hugged amid applause. Wyatt's laugh bright. We did it. The realtor handed keys, grizzled and grinning. House needs work, but it's yours. Dusk fell as they approached. The Victorian weathered but standing, porch light socket empty. Wyatt pulled the sketch from his bag, held it up. Full circle. Carter unlocked the door, hinges screaming protest. Inside, dust motes dancing, furniture ghosts under sheets. The living room where Dad preached. Kitchen where Mom wept. Upstairs, his old room, wallpaper peeling, bed frame bare. Wyatt wandered, fingers trailing banisters, while Carter fought tears. In the attic, they found it. A trunk, locked but yielding to a crowbar. Letters. Photos. Jamie's smile frozen in Polaroid. And at the bottom, a birth certificate. Wyatt Ellis Hayes. Born to Eleanor Hayes, age 19. Adopted out at birth to Clara Ellis. Carter's world shattered. Brother. Wyatt, no, his brother, stumbled back, face ashen. What the fuck? Secret spilled. Ellie, pregnant young. Forced adoption by Dad's decree. Clara, family friend, raising him in silence. The drawing, not chance but blood memory. Betrayal burned. You knew. Wyatt shook his head, frantic. No, Clara hinted, but God, Carter. The kiss they'd shared? Incestuous shadow. Carter fled to the porch, vomit rising. Wyatt followed, pleading. We didn't know. It's not. Everything's tainted. Carter roared, the swing creaking behind. Rain started, biblical. You redrew my home, my heart, our home, and lied by omission. I didn't lie. I loved. Wyatt choked. Love. Carter's fist connected with the railing, wood splintering. Get out. Wyatt left in the downpour, taillights fading. Carter sank to the boards, the house groaning around him. A tomb of what-ifs. The drive back to Brooklyn was a blur of wipers slapping rain. Carter's hands white-knuckled on the wheel, Wyatt's absence a void beside him. No, Wyatt was gone, vanished into the night like smoke, leaving Carter to navigate the highway alone. Ghost shotgun. Elmwood receded in the rear view, but its poison seeped. Brother. The word looped, grotesque, twisting every memory. Their first kiss under bar lights, bodies arching in the loft, Wyatt's whispers of forever. Incest, even unknowing. A stain no bleach could lift. By dawn, he reached the city, streets slick and unforgiving, parking haphazardly before staggering to his door. Lena was there, how she always knew, armed with coffee and silence. Talk. He did, words tumbling. The trunk, the certificate, the chasm. She listened, face a mask of controlled fury. DNA don't dictate dick. You didn't know. Neither did he. But we, Carter choked, sinking to the floor. I love him. Loved. Fuck. Lena knelt, gripping his shoulders. Threads needs you. You need you. Call him tomorrow. Sort the wreckage. Tomorrow came, but Wyatt's phone rang to voicemail. Soft voice. Now a knife. Leave a message. Carter didn't. Instead, he buried in work. Haven House blueprints shredded. Donors looped with delays. Nights blurred into whiskey haze. Sketches Wyatt left behind mocking from the fridge. Their faces intertwined. Innocent lies. A week in, threads drop and hummed despite him. Teens painted murals of resilience. Volunteers buzzed. Carter lurked in shadows until a kid 17, bruised eyes, slid him a drawing. Two figures on a porch, backs turned. For the guy who lost his way, the kid mumbled. Heard the story. Carter's chest cracked. He pinned it up, a talisman. That night, he drove to Clara's, a dress from Lena's sleuthing. Suburban Kansas facsimile, but in Jersey, a stone's throw from the bridge. She answered in pearls and frost, 60s elegance sharpened by secrets. Mr. Hayes. No warmth. Wyatt warned me. Let me in. Voice steel. She did, parlor stiff with doilies and denial. Clara poured tea, hand steady. Eleanor was wild. Your father. Contained her. The baby Wyatt was mercy. I raised him proper. Away from that house's sins. Sins? Carter leaned forward. Like forcing adoption? Or preaching hate while hiding your own? Her lips thinned. Reverend Hayes saved souls. Including yours, briefly. He laughed. Bitter. Saved? He buried me. And Ellie, my sister, shattered her. Clara's gaze flickered. Regret? She wrote me years later. Wanted him back. I refused. For his sake. Where is he now? Carter demanded. Gone. Back west, I think. Drawing his pains away. She slid an envelope across. Letters, Ellie's hand. To my boys. Forgive the fractures. Carter left with them, heart heavier. Ellie's words. Apologies for fleeing. Love for the brother she never knew she shared with him. Build something true. For us. Back home, he read till dawn, tears salting pages. Love for Wyatt, twisted but real, demanded reckoning. He texted, Haven House waits. So do I. Brooklyn. No reply. Days stretched, threads a lifeline. A donor gala loomed, black tie, power plays. Carter dressed sharp, armor on, but inside hollow. Lena cornered him pre-event. You're a ghost. Fight for him. The gala was opulence. Crystal, jazz, queer icons toasting progress. Carter schmoozed on autopilot until a familiar silhouette at the bar. Wyatt. Suited, hair tamed, sketching coasters. Heart seized. He approached, world narrowing. You came. Wyatt looked up, eyes shadowed. Clara forwarded your text. Figured. Closure. Not closure. Carter's voice broke. Truth. They slipped to the terrace, city glittering below. Wyatt lit a cigarette, rare habit, exhaling smoke like confession. I ran to Chicago. Crashed with an ex, drew nonstop. Us, the house, the mess. Realized blood's just biology. Doesn't erase us. Carter stepped closer, rain-sent memory. But it changes. Everything. Wyatt crushed the cig. Or nothing. I loved you before the trunk. Still do. Incest's a label, not a lock. Desire warred with dread. Carter cupped his face, thumbs brushing stubble. I can't lose you, but I can't pretend. Wyatt leaned in, foreheads touching. Then don't. Build with me. Real. Human. The kiss was tentative, testing, lips soft, breaths mingling doubt and dawn. No fire but embers. They parted, hands linked. Haven House, Carter whispered. Start there. Wyatt nodded, smile fragile. Partners. Brothers. Whatever. But trust was a sapling, bent by storms. Back inside, donors clamored. They played the part, charming duo, Thread's future. Later, in the loft, they talked till sunrise. Boundaries, therapy, the nonprofit as anchor. No sex, not yet. Just presence, rebuilding brick by brick. Fall deepened. Leaves carpeting Brooklyn brown. Haven House renovations kicked off. Contractors hammering. Wyatt designing murals of reclaimed roots. Carter Dove in weekends, driving out with supplies. Wyatt waiting with coffee and quiet. Their dynamic shifted. Deeper talks. Jamie's ghost laid to rest in shared vigils. Ellie's letters framed in the foyer. Yet conflict simmered. Clara called, weakly insistent. He's fragile. Don't break him again. Carter bristled. Wyatt deflected, but tension leaked. One night, post-demo day, dust-caked and weary, they argued in the half-gutted kitchen. You're hovering, Wyatt snapped, wrenching a cabinet free. Like I'm glass. You're reckless, Carter shot back. Skipping sessions, drawing all night. Clara's right. Wyatt whirled, eyes flashing. Clara? The woman who stole my life? Fuck her. And you, if you're listening. Words landed like blows. Carter stormed out to the oak. Newly planted, sapling defiant. Wyatt followed, apologies in his wake. I'm scared. Of losing this. Us. Carter pulled him down, dirt between fingers. Me too. But we fight together. Reconciliation was raw. Tears, laughter. A kiss under stars that tasted of soil and second chances. Love, humanistic, bloomed in the mess, not perfect but profound. Climax brewed as winter nipped. Threads board meeting. Expansion vote. Carter pitched Haven boldly. Wyatt at his side. Slides of murals glowing. Cheers. Then a donor's query. Funding transparency? Ellis ties. Clara. She'd pulled strings. Whispers of nepotism. Board wavered. Carter's temper flared. This is about kids, not blood. Post-meeting, Wyatt confessed. She threatened to yank support unless I distanced. Betrayal, round 2. You agreed. No, told her off. But it hurts. Wyatt's voice cracked. Family's poison. Carter held him, fury at Clara boiling. We cut her out. Our terms. But the seed of doubt flowered. Was Wyatt's love tethered to her strings? Sleepless, Carter pored over Ellie's letters, finding solace in her plea. Love defies maps. December cloaked elmwood in frost. Haven House a skeleton framed against barren fields. But inside, warmth flickered. Space heaters humming. Volunteers stringing lights for a pre-launch vigil. Carter and Wyatt worked in tandem. A choreography honed by trial. Him on logistics, spreadsheets bleeding red ink. Wyatt on vision. Walls blooming with teen art hauled from Brooklyn. Their bond, tempered in fire, held a new intimacy. Not the blaze of summer, but a steady hearth. Mornings started with coffee on the porch swing. Rebuilt, sturdy oak slats, talking dreams over steam. Nights ended wrapped in sleeping bags on the floor, whispers weaving futures. You ever think about Mom, Ellie? Wyatt asked one eve, snow dusting the window panes. Carter nodded, throat tight. Every day now. She was light, before Dad dimmed her. He squeezed Wyatt's hand. You look like her. The photos. Wyatt's smile was bittersweet. Clara burned most. Said it was clean break. But I remember a locket. Her face inside. The locket. Carter rummaged the trunk later. alone, fingers sifting yellowed papers. There, tarnished silver, Ellie's initials engraved. Inside, twin baby photos, one his, one Wyatt's. No, him and Ellie toddlers. But a note tucked behind, for my lost son. Find your brother. Heart-pounding, Carter pocketed it. Gift for Wyatt, bridge, not burden. Threads thrived meanwhile. Brooklyn buzzed with Haven hype. Lena visited site, approving. You too? Domestic as fuck. It's cute. Carter flushed. Wyatt grinned. But shadows loomed. Clara escalated. Emails to board. Veiled threats of lawsuits over inheritance disputes. The trust, Dad's estate, tangled in probate, now claiming Haven as family asset. Lawyers circled, fees mounting. We fight, Carter declared over war room pizza, maps strewn. Pro bono from that queer legal collective. Wyatt nodded, but weariness etched him. Dark circles from nightmares, sketches turning darker. Fractured mirrors, bloodless wounds. What if we lose? We won't. Carter pulled him close, kiss fierce. You're my win. Clara struck at Yule. Unannounced arrival, fur coat incongruous in the drafty foyer. Boys. Voice honey over venom. Wyatt froze. Carter stepped forward. Leave. She ignored, eyes on Wyatt. This folly? Draining my goodwill. Come home, real home. Brooklyn's home, Wyatt spat. With Carter. Clara's laugh tinkled. Brotherly love? Quaint. But blood calls. She thrust papers. Injunction, halting Reno. Reverend's will, house reverts to kin. Properly. Carter snatched them, scanning legalese. Forgery? No, Dad's scrawl, addendum postdating death. He knew about you? Always. Clara's mask slipped, triumph. Eleanor confessed before fleeing. He adopted remotely through me. Protected the name. Protected. Code for buried. Rage surged. Carter advanced. You profited on pain. Get out. She left with a smirk, but the damage stuck. Work halted, donors spooked. Wyatt crumbled post-departure, curling on the floor. She'll never stop. Carter held him through sobs, locket pressed into palm. She doesn't own us. This does. The silver glinted, Ellie's ghost a-lying. They rallied, Threads Gala Redux virtual auction for legal fees. Queer celebrities auctioned art. Bids soared. Wyatt's piece, The House, reborn in color, fetched $20K. Amid cheers, Clara called Wyatt's phone. Live-streamed, petty theatrics. Wyatt answered, voice steel. Goodbye, Aunt. We're family now. Click. Catharsis. The board voted full steam. Injunction crumbled under scrutiny. Will contested. Fraud alleged. Winter waned. Spring teasing buds. Haven pulsed. First residents. Foster alums. Queer migrants arriving tentative. Opening gala. Lanterns on the lawn. Fiddles wailing Americana. Carter speechified. Voice cracking. This house held secrets. Now it holds hope. Wyatt beside him, hand in back pocket. Subtle claim. Pride swelled, love solid. But climax crested in April rains. Wyatt vanished, day long, no word. Carter paced Brooklyn, calls ignored. Lena, check the house. He drove frantic, wipers frantic. Porch empty, but attic light glowed. Upstairs. Wyatt on floor, trunk open, letters scattered. Overdose remnants? No, Clara's doing? Wyatt clutched Ellie's diary, face streaked. She came, broke in, said you'd abandon me. Like her. Wyatt's voice hollow. Left this. Proof. Dad paid her hush money. For us. The sins. Carter knelt, diary trembling in hands. Pages. Ellie's torment. Pregnancy hidden. Adoption coerced. Love for Jamie confessed. My boys, bound by blood and broken by it. But love? That's the thread. Wyatt looked up, eyes wild. We're monsters. No. Carter cupped his face. Survivors. Kiss desperate, affirming. Not lovers in flesh, but souls entwined. Brothers. Partners. Us. Clara's betrayal peaked. Leaked diary excerpts to tabloids. Pastor's dark legacy. Incest scandal? Headlines screamed. Threads donors fled. Protesters at gates. Carter faced press. Families complex. Love isn't scandal. It's salvation. Wyatt backed him, sketch in hand. Them under oak, roots merging. Storm broke. Support surged. Queer allies, viral posts. Clara exposed. Embezzlement from trust, arrested quiet. In the quiet after, on the swing, Wyatt leaned head on shoulder. We made it. Carter kissed crown. We did. Summer returned, benevolent. Haven House a beacon. Laughter echoing halls, art classes spilling to lawns, the oak shading picnics. Carter and Wyatt settled into rhythm, co-directors by title, confidants by choice. No grand romance, but a profound intimacy. Shared sunrises on the porch, Ellie's locket on a chain between them, therapy sessions dissecting scars. Threads expanded, satellites in Chicago, KC roots spreading. Donors returned, scandals fodder for resilience tales. Wyatt's art exploded. Solo show in KC, threads of kin, drawings of fractured homes mended. Critics raved. Raw humanism in queer strokes. Carter attended opening, suit crisp, heart full. Wyatt dedicated. To the brother who found me. Crowd applauded. Backstage, embrace chaste but charged. Proud, Carter murmured. Me too. Wyatt's grin lit rooms. Clara's trial dragged. Guilty, restitution ordered. No contact. Freedom tasted sweet. Ellie surfaced. Letter from Callie, frail script. Saw the news. My boys shining. Visit. They did road trip playlists nostalgic. Ellie 60s but spry, in a bungalow by sea. Hugs awkward, then easy. Stories flowed. Her escape, regrets, joys. You built what I couldn't, she said, tears salting chowder. Wyatt sketched her portrait. Carter filmed memories. Departure bittersweet. Family now, Ellie whispered. Back east, life deepened. Threads anniversary. Block party, Brooklyn to Elmwood hybrid. Kids performed. Spoken word on hidden loves. Donors danced. Carter and Wyatt toasted under strung lights. City stars above. You changed everything, Carter said, clinking bottles. Wyatt's eyes softened. We changed. Fall brought harvest. Haven's first grad, teen artist, scholarship bound. Wyatt mentored, Carter funded. Pride swelled. Humanistic core affirmed. Not perfection, but progress. Winter whispered closure. Christmas Eve, snow blanketing Elmwood. They sat by fire. Rescued hearth roaring. Wyatt pulled a package. Sketchbook, their story in panels. From house drawing to this, brothers unbroken. Carter's gift. Deed. Haven in both names. Ours. Embrace lingered, warmth profound. No kiss needed. Love spoke volumes. Years folded. Threads empire. Wyatt's galleries. Ellie's visits. Scandals faded to footnotes. They, legends quiet. In the end, not tragic blaze, but gentle glow. Human, American, flawed, fierce, found. The porch swing creaked, ghosts at peace. Home, redrawn.